Alright, let's get this over with, shall we?
I'm the champion. I have the right to celebrate any way I choose.
Alright, what did you say, bud? Done, Pokemon. After your victory over Courtney, I hereby grant you the World Champion title of the Universal Pokemon Federation. Congrats, I can't say you earned it.
Yeah!
Thank you very much. There are going to be a lot of changes coming very soon. The reign of Don Pokemon is sure to be one too.
Turn off the music, Don. You got some guts, okay? You got some guts claiming that title when you won it in an unfair match.
An unfair match. That was a challenge that your sister happily accepted. Maybe if Courtney hadn't been so cocky, she might have won that match.
Cocky. You want to talk about cocky real quick? The only cocky person I see is the one being prideful of a title that he won in a handicapped match, a 1v6.
You know what I think, Mark Cameron? I think that you're simply upset at the fact that, unlike me, you bought merchandise in advance and didn't work out in your favor. You were cocky and you still lost, and yet I'm the champion right now, and look, here's my proof.
Cut the games, Don. You want to be prideful of this title? You can defend it against me. Then you can really be proud of what you've done.
Defend it against you. Listen, if you think you're truly worthy enough of that match, you're going to have to go through VB first.
I've done it before. I'll do it again.
So you
Bring it on, loser!
As he says, I think he'll be ready for you. Now, why don't you run along and get out of my house? I have a battle to win.
So, I want to address that last battle. Obviously, I'm not very happy about what happened. I'm not very happy about the challenge itself. And I'm not really happy about the handicap. And no, I don't mean that I could only have one Pokemon being the handicap. By handicap, I mean that I have the strongest Pokemon in this league. And thanks to my brother, I didn't use one of them. So that's my handicap. And now Don's the champion. Don Pokemon, who has not won a single battle in this league so far. He even lost to the guy who got swept by one singular Ninjask. So Don Pokemon has my belt. So where do I go from here? I've always had a strategy that involves balance, some walls, some tanks, some Pokemon that I know are going to get beat along the way, but no more balance. We're going for unrelenting domination from here on out. If you think you're going to use a sword stance, if we think that you're going to use a calm mind, you're going to lose. If you're doing anything that doesn't try to kill my Pokemon, you are going to lose because the beasts are coming for you.
Alright, and let's kick things off with Don's Gastrodon leading in against Jerome's Tapu Koko. Already this is going to be a bad matchup for Koko, as Gastrodon will not be able to be affected by electric type moves that will be buffed from Electric Surge. Don's in a great position right now if he stays in. It feels like he can be able to hit Tapu Koko super effectively and put Jerome in a really tough position losing a Pokemon. But Jerome has led with U-turn here, which is a great way to pivot Tapu Koko out and deal some damage to Gastrodon while he's at it, which is great. And surely he's fooled Don into using a ground type move against him against the next switch-in, which will be Corviknight. Excellent move here. Not only can Gastrodon not be able to hit Corviknight with ground type moves, Gastrodon's other attacking moves will not be able to do the same amount of damage they would do to Tapu Koko. Now Jerome has decided to use U-turn again on Corviknight and pivot out back into... I'm not sure quite yet why he'd leave. Put it into Venusaur. Now Don played it very safe right here by using Ice Beam. He wouldn't risk using Earth Power again against Corviknight, but Ice Beam was able to hit Jerome's Venusaur super effectively, and it would be able to do decent damage to Corviknight if Corviknight had stayed in. Now Venusaur can hit Gastrodon and Oko with Petal Blizzard. Great way to finish off Gastrodon because Gastrodon's only weakness is double to grass, and now Don has lost his Gastrodon for good. Venusaur is also able to recover health with Black Sludge, which is unexpected for a Venusaur to have, but very fitting item choice. Don's next move here is to switch into Dragonite, which definitely does give him an advantage against Venusaur. Venusaur will not be able to hit Gastrodon super effectively and will have resisted damage. Great move here for Don going for Dragon Dance to keep Dragonite as threatening as possible, raising its attack and speed, which are some of its best stats. And Jerome has retaliated with Leech Seed, which is a good way to get some extra health out of Dragonite, and if Dragonite has multi-scale, he can definitely break it. But staying in here against +1 Dragonite with attack and speed is definitely going to be difficult. Now Venusaur is able to get a decent amount of health back from Leech Seed and Black Sludge, and Don can go on the offensive here though and just make all that regained health kind of a waste. Okay, you've seen that Jerome has taken out Venusaur and instead put in Grimmsnarl, which is an excellent move. Ooh, it's a big punish against Don. Don went for Outrage and now it'll fail completely because Jerome was able to switch in a Fairy type Pokemon that I was not expecting. Now Don doesn't have to fully commit to Outrage there because he's able to use other moves. But now Don's Dragonite's in a really bad spot with the paralysis from Thunder Wave, because all the speed increases he got are now just null. He's now down to half of what he had with the +1, and he wasn't even able to move that turn, so it's essentially a turn wasted and a crippled Dragonite. Alright, Don has made the right move here to switch Dragonite out because it's kind of useless at this point. Now we have Scizor in against Grimmsnarl, which is a good pick, seeing that Scizor can resist Grimmsnarl's attacks and hit super effectively. Grimmsnarl could go for Thunder Wave again to cripple Scizor even further, even though the speed drop doesn't matter as much. It's definitely helpful to get it to miss a few turns. Now Jerome has switched out Grimmsnarl back into Corviknight, who is a much better matchup against Scizor. A lot of pivoting from Jerome in this game to keep Don on his toes and to play around with what Don may or may not do. Now the Electric Terrain is gone, but it wasn't really making that much of a difference regardless. Don doesn't have many options here with Scizor unless he may have Dark type moves that he could use advantage of. Don has gone for the pivot here as well. And to challenge Corviknight, he has decided to switch in, let's see. It's a very difficult position for Don to be in. He has one crippled Pokemon, one fainted, and Jerome doesn't have that same issue. Don has decided that his best pick here against Jerome's Corviknight is the aforementioned crippled Dragonite. Interesting. Corviknight has gone for Body Press, which is resisted damage but still does a decent amount given Corviknight's high defense stat. Now we have two flying types in the field. Neither one seems to be capable of hitting the other. Corviknight definitely benefits from Dragonite being at half speed, is able to get out of there with U-turn. That leaves Don with hopefully still a super effective hit against whatever Jerome puts in, because Jerome's pivoting this game has been really, really, really good. It's definitely worthy of attention that Don tries to predict what Jerome is going to switch in to challenge his Pokemon. Alright, and Jerome has decided to put back Tapu Koko after all this time. Definitely good to have an electric and fairy type Pokemon against Dragonite. Now, well, it didn't matter what Don had in store for the switch in because he was paralyzed yet again. Now, Tapu Koko could easily finish off Dragonite here, but Jerome has decided to go for U-turn again. I'm starting to believe that his Koko has a choice item of such, because it seemed the more likely option was to go for a fairy or electric type move and finish off Dragonite right here. He has now put in his Electivire. Ooh, no, this definitely makes sense as to why he'd be switching out at this point. Oh, and he had an Electric Seed to raise defense, which is going to be good against a physical attacker like Dragonite, who wasn't even able to hit him super effectively because of the switch in. Now, Electivire could go for a lot of things here. Wild Charge, or Ice Punch, or Thunder Punch. Anything to just get rid of this Dragonite, even though it's not doing much anyway. But instead, Jerome has gone for Darkest Lariat, which was not able to finish Dragonite off, and now Dragon has retaliated with Outrage, which did a really hefty amount of damage for a Dragonite with no buffs yet. I guess the investment into attack is very strong. Oh, it appears that Jerome has a mixed attacking Electivire, and instead of Thunder Punch or Wild Charge, he's gone for Thunderbolt. Now Dragonite is completely finished, and Don is down 2 Pokemon, with none of the others losing any health yet except Scizor by a small amount, and Jerome has kept all of his Pokemon alive for this long. Now Jerome has had Marowak in, which is really good against the 2 electric types that Jerome is focusing on. Jerome could possibly have coverage, but it appears not, as he's going for Darkest Lariat once again. And a bulky defensive Pokemon like Marowak is going to shrug that off. Now, Don has retaliated with Flamethrower, which is probably its best bet in case Electivire were to switch out. He could get in some extra damage on a Corviknight if he really wanted to. Or Venusaur, which now has re-entered the battlefield. Don may not want to stay in here because Venusaur can challenge Marowak's lack of special defense, but he does have a physical Venusaur, so it may not make that much of a difference. He has given Venusaur a taste of Flamethrower, which is super effective, but isn't able to finish him off quite yet. And the returning Petal Blizzard was able to do more than enough damage, but still keep both Pokemon alive. If Don goes for Flamethrower again, surely Venusaur will be finished, which he has just decided to do. It's interesting to see that his Marowak was able to outspeed a Venusaur, but I guess the speed is similar enough. I've always just considered Marowak to be too slow. Then again, Jerome's Venusaur wasn't level 100 yet, so that might be the reason why. Now Jerome is down a Pokemon for the first time, and has a lot of switch-ins he can do here, but it's important to see what he does. Okay, Grimmsnarl has been placed back in. Grimmsnarl cannot paralyze Marowak, but can definitely sneak some damage in. Seems like Don may or may not stay in, it's difficult to tell. Oh wow. Marowak was able to completely one-hit KO Grimmsnarl with an Iron Head. Not only was he able to outspeed another one of Jerome's Pokemon, but hit it in one clean shot with a super effective Steel type move, which is definitely unexpected, but definitely a pleasant thing for Don to keep up with. Now they have lost the same amount of Pokemon, I believe. And Jerome has thrown in his Garchomp to challenge this Marowak, who's being rather oppressive at the moment. Garchomp is certainly faster and can deal a good amount of damage to Marowak. Dragon Claw with no investments and no stat raises was able to do some damage, but not enough. And yet again, Marowak has been able to finish off one of Jerome's Pokemon. Very interesting to see Garchomp die in 2 hits to a Boomerang. I was definitely not expecting just one Boomerang to do more than half of Garchomp's health. Yet here we are with Marowak being able to clean house at this point. This is a huge step in the right direction for Don, and a huge oversight, I believe, on Jerome's part, not being able to challenge this thing speed-wise or damage-wise. Now, Coco is in once again to reset the electric terrain. I do believe Coco will be fast enough to finish off Marowak before anything else happens. And he's gone for U-turn on it. I haven't seen any of his Tapu Koko's other moves besides U-turn. I do think he is stuck with the choice item on that, and he's been just using U-turn to kind of play with Don's head a little bit. Now he has put in back his Corviknight, and I believe he still has Electivire remaining. Don down to 3 Pokemon here. Now that Marowak is gone, the destructive Marowak is no longer available. It's difficult for me to decide who Don's bringing in. Oh, Togekiss. Well, this isn't the greatest matchup against a Corviknight, but he could definitely cripple it in some way. It's not impossible on Togekiss's side, and it should be faster. And here we see that a Dynamax has been brought to the table. Jerome has decided to bring in a Gigantamax Corviknight, actually, which may not put him in the best position, actually, because if he uses G-Max Wind Rage, he'll get rid of his electric terrain, which may benefit the Electivire he still has later on. Instead, he's going for Max Steel Spike for super effective damage, and that should be the end of Togekiss right there. But oh wow, it's actually able to survive. It's difficult for me to say what move that turned into, but enough damage for Togekiss to stay in is definitely interesting. Don himself has decided to return this Dynamax with a Dynamax of his own. I'm not sure how much damage he can do to Corviknight. This may or may not be the best move depending on how capable Togekiss is of killing this Corviknight now that it's in Gigantamax form. And Don being at low health does not put him in a great position. He's going for Max Flare here, which... nope, not quite enough. Whatever Jerome does at this point will finish off this Togekiss, and actually this would be kind of a waste on Don's part. He's gone for G-Max Wind Rage, which has finished off Togekiss, and now Don has lost any availability to his Dynamax after only 1 turn, whereas Jerome is definitely able to keep this thing in. And now Don is down to 2 Pokemon remaining, neither one of them in a good position to face off against this Corviknight. And Jerome has the slight advantage with 2 Pokemon at more than half their health, and Electivire with what it has left. Now Mimikyu here is good because it can definitely tank the last hit of G-Max Corviknight with its disguise ability, but even then it still may or may not be enough. Don has decided to go for Swords Dance, which is a great move since he's going to get Disguise broken most likely anyway. And here, right here, Jerome is going for Max Steel Spike to break it and make Mimikyu lose an 1/8 of its health. But he has just completely challenged Don's swords here, because with Max Steel Spike now being used twice, he has a 2+ increase in defense that equals Don's 2+ attack. So whatever move Don goes for here may or may not be enough to finish off Corviknight before it does the same. Now Don has gone for Phantom Force, which gives him a turn with vulnerability, and Corviknight has retaliated with Iron Head. So the Iron Head was the move that Max Steel Spike originated from. And Don's Phantom Force here is actually not able to finish off Corviknight by just a hair. Corviknight's Iron Head here should definitely, yep, that's the end of Mimikyu right there. Wow, that was a real surprise to see Corviknight have just enough health to survive. It looked like maybe 3 or 4 HP remaining. And Don is finally down to his last Pokemon, which is Scizor, whereas Jerome definitely... Oh, he only has 2 remaining. I guess I misspoke before. I did think Electivire was alive, but I think now he's just down to Tapu Koko. And Scizor able to use a resisted bullet punch to kill Corviknight. Well, with that amount of health, yeah, anything would have killed, but it's still. So Don here has to be able to challenge Tapu Koko. Electric Turn will get reset once again, which actually worked to his benefit now, seeing that Wind Rage was able to disperse it. Now, if Jerome goes for any electric type move, I think he will do more than enough damage in 2 goes to get rid of this Scizor, because it looks like Scizor cannot hit Koko super effectively unless it has Poison Jab, and its stab moves are either resisted or neutral. But it looks like Bullet Punch is able to do plenty of damage to Koko, and this might be the end of the game right here if Don gets one more Bullet Punch off, which Don has completely turned this around and was definitely able to win. So with that in mind, the exhibition match comes to an end, and Don definitely gave us all a big shock. So until next time, this is Jay Caliber.